It's hard to believe that 2024 is coming to a close, but we only have a few months left to go. With the final quarter of the year left, we still have plenty of great games coming out. Hey there, it's the Dove, here to tell you about 7 games coming out in the last stretch of 2024. I'm excited about a lot of these titles, so let's just get going. We are starting with a remake, as Silent Hill 2 will be making its way to the PlayStation 5 and PC this week. This Konami classic has more than just a cult following. The creepy, dark, psychological thriller style that the original Silent Hill 2 possessed seems to be carried over quite well to the current generation of consoles. The early reviews of the remake are overwhelmingly positive already, with reviewers implying that the game harnesses what was great about the original while giving it a graphical and user interface upgrade. Users on PS5 will be able to select from performance or quality mode depending on whether you want to risk frame rates dipping a bit for a more graphically brilliant title. The remake reportedly stays true to the original, but it is also noted that the Silent Hill 2 remake is actually a bit longer and has a bit more to explore. Not all enemy encounters are exactly the same as the original, and enemy placement is also varied. So if you have played the original, it sounds like there is plenty to keep you on your toes. Silent Hill 2 is just the kind of game you want for October. One of those titles you can scare the pants off yourself if the lights are off and the game is loud enough. The upgrade from the original version will likely be amplified with the higher fidelity screens and the improved sound systems of today. Not every remake and remaster is created equally, and by early accounts, this looks like it could be what fans of the series desperately need. Hardcore die-hard fans of the genre will never be happy, but you can't please everyone all the time. We will just have to wait and see what the public has to say about the Silent Hill 2 remake when it releases October 8th, unless you sprung for the early access and you're already playing it. Silent Hill 2 available on PlayStation and PC. The fact that Stalker 2 is even coming out at all is a downright miracle. This first-person survival shooter horror game is the first game in the series in over a decade, and with the help of Unreal 5 engine, it looks amazing. So amazing that there are reports that other publishers wanted to wait out the release of Stalker 2. Now, there is development hell, but that doesn't begin to describe what this title has gone through. Almost 2 years into the production, the CEO of GSC Game World stopped all development company-wide for, quote, personal reasons. The company closed shortly after that. Fast forward a decade after the developers rose from the ashes and were in development again on Stalker 2, when Russia invaded the developers' home country, Ukraine. Not surprisingly, the game was delayed again. Luckily, Stalker 2 is ready to come out this November 22nd on Xbox Series and PC. If you haven't played any of the previous Stalker games, don't fear. The creators at GSC Game World have said that Stalker 2 is an independent sequel to the Stalker trilogy, so it can be a great start for your journey within the Stalker universe. End quote. They do add that playing the other games does help with the overall immersion, however. At its heart, this is a survival game. Roam and survive the zone as you encounter various NPCs and other factions, completing quests all the while you uncover the truth behind the second explosion. The gameplay looks great, and they boast realistic gunplay and survival conditions. This title appears to have a huge upgrade in graphics from the previous installments of the series, so if everything holds up, this could be a real success. Stalker 2 will be releasing November 22nd on Xbox and PC. Tetris Forever is slated to release in 2024 with no definitive date as of this video. This hybrid game collection / documentary is the 40th anniversary of the release of the original Tetris. The game aspect of Tetris Forever will feature 14 different Tetris games from across the 4 decades, including the original, multiple sequels and reiterations, and many versions that were only released outside the US market. Unfortunately for nerds like myself, the absolute masterpiece known as Tetris Attack is owned by Nintendo, so it would have been extremely tricky for it to be in the Tetris Forever collection. I'm very disappointed that Tetris Attack didn't make it into the collection, but hopefully some of the extra versions that haven't seen the light of day in the US outside of some emulators will perk me right up. The documentary aspect will feature 90 minutes of film talking about the partnership between Tetris's creator and the founder of the Tetris company, Alexei Pechinov and Hank Rogers respectively. The footage is previously unseen, so if you're interested or a really big Tetris fan, it might just be worth it for that documentary. There has been no official gameplay released as of this video, which frankly has this reviewer concerned. I don't know how much they'll have to polish when they're basically making new ports for 14 games, but it would be nice to just get a little glimpse of the menus and a little more gameplay of each title that makes up Tetris Forever. Now this is all speculation, but perhaps like Stalker 2 was delayed with the Russian and Ukraine war, it's possible Tetris Forever could also see a slight delay. Regardless of my speculation, Tetris Forever is still slated for release in 2024 on the Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. This next title I've been really excited about for a while now, and it faced a delay not too long before this video came out. Now it looks like The Precinct will be releasing by the end of 2024. The Precinct is an isometric, top-down action-adventure where you play as a cop on the mean streets of Averno City. The game is definitely geared towards fans of older crime movies. The Precinct is even set in the 1980s, probably the golden age of crime action movies if you ask the Dove. The overarching plot of The Precinct is to figure out and uncover what happened in your father's murder. But day to day, you're a cop, and you're going to be walking your beat on foot, pulling people over with your cruiser, or flying around the city in a helicopter. The idea is to go by the book and do things the right way. Cutting corners or being a blatantly horrible cop will cost you, but you have a number of strategies to take care of any situations that arise. Calmly talk it out with suspects or come in guns blazing. It certainly looks like there are a lot of issues as you cruise the city, and a number of ways to approach each of those crimes. NPCs might just be having one bad procedurally generated day, so treating them like a violent criminal could have some consequences for you down the line. It looks like a classic looking take on Grand Theft Auto, but from the law enforcement's perspective. You can commandeer public vehicles if you really want to get that GTA-like feel. This retro-looking game has all the procedurally generated crimes in all the right places. Navigate through the mean streets of Averno City as you serve and protect, all while trying to figure out what happened in your father's murder. From jaywalking to high-octane car chases, this game looks like it has a good variety to keep gamers interested. And if the procedurally generated sandbox works as advertised, The Precinct could have a lot of replayability. Check out The Precinct on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC by the end of 2024. Nine Souls is finally coming to consoles after a few months of not really knowing where it was going to land. There's now a definitive date of November 26th when Nine Souls will be available on the PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch. I have to admit, my original review of this game just doesn't even do it justice. This is honestly one of my favorite games of all time. Granted, it's been a while since I've been a fan of the Metroidvania genre in general, but this game is so good, so challenging, and frankly so beautiful, I would recommend it for a lot of gamers. Most notably, gamers who are looking for a challenge. This game has a few Souls-like elements with how your character improves his skills and with a similar bonfire-style checkpoint system. Nine Souls does focus on the parry mechanic and is one of the more challenging games I've ever played. With that in mind, I have seen people comment that this game is a cross between Sekiro and Hollow Knight. However people define it, this is a staunchly challenging Metroidvania that is as captivating story-wise as it is fun to play. I do want to warn some gamers, it does take a second to get into Nine Souls. I think you have to unlock a few abilities and progress a little bit to fully appreciate how fun and really how challenging the game is. I will be the first to admit that I spent more time on the last 2 bosses than I did on the entire rest of the game combined. So if you're looking for a challenging Metroidvania, check out the absolutely breathtaking 9 Souls by Red Candle Games, coming to consoles this November 26th. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is a retro-style beat-em-up coming to gamers in 2024. Play as one of 5 Power Rangers in single-player or grab a few friends with both offline and online co-ops. Robo Rita and Rita Repulsa want to make sure the Rangers never exist, so they rewind and remix the past to see to it. The game takes the Rangers through multiple time periods and levels as you and your team of Rangers go up against the myriad of characters from the Mighty Morphin universe. The game is going to include characters and scenes from all the different iterations of the Power Rangers, so all fans of the series will have something to look forward to. There will be plenty of smashing and bashing, but how could you be a Power Ranger if you didn't have a few vehicles to jump into? Rita's Rewind includes a few levels where you are driving around in various vehicles and some arcade-style shooting sequences as well. But most notably, fans of the series will be able to pilot their own Dinozords, and of course, the ultimate Megazord for boss battles. This game looks like an absolute dream for my 10-year-old self, and frankly, I'm just as excited as an adult. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is coming in 2024 and will be available on the PlayStations, Xboxes, Switch, and PC. Last but certainly not least, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This game is set between the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, so for people who didn't enjoy the current movies, probably all the better. And honestly, that's the exact timeline where people want to play their Indiana Jones games. And looking at some of the gameplay and trailer releases, this thing looks nothing short of spectacular. The animations and the character development look incredible. There are some times when I'm looking at my phone where I honestly think it's a cut of the movie. The voice actor is also pretty darn close to what Harrison Ford sounded like in his prime.
Patron of the fallen angels, protector of the Circulimani, the Great Circle.
It's those nice touches that could really make this game a lot of fun. The game has you hopping around the world to different locations as you attempt to stop a mysterious organization from harnessing the power of the Great Circle. It looks like the game's trying to have a lot of variation with level design, and hopefully there's a good variety in locations around the world that Indy gets to explore. To be fair, when the Tomb Raider game came out, a lot of people compared it to the Indiana Jones movies. In Tomb Raider, you're an archaeologist rooting around some old tombs, hence the name, and you're solving puzzles while also getting into some fights. The similarities are clear, but let's see if Indiana Jones and the Great Circle can stand on its own. If this game is as action-packed as it looks, and as the movies are, I think you could have a lot of great times here. I love the mix of puzzles with action as long as it doesn't bog down one or the other. Sometimes you're playing a game like God of War, and although they do have some nice puzzles here and there, sometimes you just want to bash things and get into the action. And other times you just really want to figure out a good puzzle. And I think that balance is going to be the key to whether or not Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is successful. I've been an Indiana Jones fan since I was a kid, and I can't wait to play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Coming to Xbox and PC this December 9th, and PlayStation next spring. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider clicking the subscribe button now. We have more videos like this and have a weekly gamer news podcast called The Gamer Buff, with all the latest gaming news. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, this is the Doug.
You have any idea how old that was?